everyone. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Welcome to Talk Talk Live. Everyone on Instagram. Welcome to Talk Talk Live. Tonight is the third night of 3. No, there won't be a fourth night in a row. Third night of 3 here on Talk Talk Live. We are live in at the humble abode of Talk Talk Live right now. And I thank you for joining me tonight on Talk Talk Live. I hope you had a great day. Let me just adjust the camera here on the YouTube. Again, in January, new equipment is indeed coming. It has been pre-ordered, so look out for that. And I thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live tonight. Tonight is going to be a short and sweet one. I wish it to be short and sweet. I wish it to be short and sweet, but I am not offering any guarantees. Hope you having a great day in the city of Toronto. It's a bit slushy. It's a bit cool. Not exactly the best of circumstances in terms of the weather. And yeah, we are, but we're going to still get it done. We're still going to go through it. Just want to make sure that my things are, are doing well right now. And let me see. Well, everything's happening over here. It's just on the YouTube that's there's a bit of a struggle. But I think we are reconnecting now. And we are just going to go for it here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I have a word from the sponsor today that I need to be slower. Yes, I have their gear on tonight. Duntalk. There it is, Done Talk. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we're working on that every day. Actually, my views are getting up every day, so I'm truly enjoying that. But thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here on Talk Talk Live. And we're just going to go through it. We're going to get to it. And I thank you very much. I have another subscriber here, which is fantastic. So, again, looking forward to your patronage tonight. Like, subscribe, comment. We are here to discuss a very, it's a very misunderstood subject. Very misunderstood. And I think what has led the push in this instance are the ladies, for instance, because for the most part, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Just had a few people been let in there. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Let me just adjust the camera there. What is happening is that when men leave a woman, or a man leaves a woman, or a woman leaves a man, usually what happens is, usually the reason for that are, number one, irreconcilable differences. But the second thing is, the man was a narcissist. And just as a prelude to that, I was thinking of doing an audible tonight. I was thinking of doing an audible onto another subject, but I think this subject is a bit of a barn burner, a bit of a blockbuster. So we're going to leave that to Sunday night to discuss and to get down into. So we're going to leave that to then. But tonight we're just going to get into the subject about who are the real narcissists, men or women. So again, as I was saying, when two people break up, usually it's for irreconcilable differences. If there is a mutual admiration for each other, however, they could not live in each other's company any longer. And they couldn't be around each other for any longer, and they decided to break up for irreconcilable differences. But usually a runner-up to that is the fact that a man is considered a narcissist. A man is, he was so much so that a woman had no recourse but to break up with him. And again, I truly see that as an issue. And somebody actually, and because again, you can't be so self-centered and so stuck up on oneself that you would leave. And number two, as will be explained a little later, there is a small percentage of those in the world today that are narcissists, that are true narcissists, that have been diagnosed narcissists by the mental health community. So it's hard to believe that every man that breaks up with every woman in the world, especially the Western world, the modern world, the developed world, break up as a result of narcissism. So we're going to delve into this deeper. And I thought to myself, you know what? let us decide who are the real narcissists, either men or women, because I wanted to put that to the test. I wanted to put that to the test tonight in a hurry up huddle, talk the talk live. Speaking of hurry up huddles, the football game is on in the background. So again, I am just, I was thinking of doing an audible. There's going to be a lot of puns being put out here tonight, but I thought indeed, and who indeed are indeed the real narcissists, either men or women. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out right now with with our browser. And again, thank you for joining me on Talk Live. We like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So let me get this up and running here. There we go. There we go. Let me make sure that it is on the cam itself. Yes, we are. We're good to go. So let's discuss. Let me read that again. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others, but behind this mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. That's the definition of an overview of what a narcissist is. A narcissistic personality disorder in regards to the Mayo Clinic. That is their definition. Going on, narcissistic personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life, such as relationships, work, school, financial matters. With people with narcissistic personality disorder may generally be generally unhappy and disappointed in what they're not given the special favors or admiration of what they believe they deserve. They may find their relationships troubling and unfulfilling, and other people may not enjoy being around them. Okay? Now again, now they say here that narcissistic personality disorder affects more males than females, as it often begins in teens and early adulthood. Some children may show traits of narcissism, but this is often typical for their age and doesn't mean they'll go in and to develop narcissistic personality disorder. So this is more or less a childlike, adolescent-like male issue, as defined by the Mayo Clinic. As defined by the Mayo Clinic. Again, we can go into the symptoms a bit later, but I think that's a good decision for now. So again, I'll read it one more time. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. And people with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. But behind the mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. Right. Now we have that. Now I'm going to play a video here that I discovered today from Sarah Garvey. Sarah Garvey is a social commentator from the UK, from London. And he usually works with the lady on the right, if you're with me on Talk Live, Just Pearly Things, and she's making huge strides in the manosphere, and she's a lady who tells it like it is, and a lot of ladies dislike her for that and feel that, she's not sticking to code, and wish that she would disappear rather than be so popular on social media and especially on YouTube. But this is Sarah Garvey's particular podcast, and he's discussing that issue with regards to the comments of a Cheyenne Edwards. Now, Cheyenne Edwards is a UK Caribbean lady who has she runs the show Grilling. And it's a show that speaks to the movers and shakers within the social media community in the UK, but also in the US. They're starting to get a huge dearth of celebrities, not only from the UK social media, but US social media, including the likes of Andrew Tate and also Fresh and Fit. Very famous interviews with them, and I believe the Andrew Tate episode got about 13 million views on Standout TV, which is where the show operates. So again, she's a woman in the know. But Sarah Garvey has beef to pick with Cheyenne Edwards and her take on, in particular, narcissism. So we're just gonna break that down today. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the comments of Mr. Garvey on this subject. So let's start it up now. Again, you can see it on Talk Live. Let me see if everybody, yes, indeed. All right, yes, so it's actually connected. So again, we are good to go, and we're gonna go into it right now. Take it away, Sarah.
Oh, Cheyenne Reynolds.
Cheyenne Reynolds.
I've DM'd with her a couple times.
Same-sex relationships.
Let's rewind that. Let's go.
Sexual, and they're all now with women, and they all say the similar thing where it's kind of like they've had just traumatic experiences from men, but now it's kind of like they just feel safe with women.
Yeah.
So even just with that, like that's another topic where we need to discuss like this alarming increase of like narcissistic behavior that is causing us women to just want to be in same-sex relationships. My friends are actually bisexual, and they're all now with women, and they all say the similar thing where it's kind of like they've had just traumatic experiences from men, but now it's kind of like they just feel safe with women.
Yeah.
So even just with that, like that's another topic where we need to discuss like this alarming increase of like narcissistic behavior that is causing.
Thank you, Blessing. Well,
So before we let Mr. Garvey launch into things, you can hear what Cheyenne has to say. She believes that there's the rise of bisexual women moving on to become lesbians themselves is because they broke up with narcissistic men, and these narcissistic men had them run, not walk, run to lesbian relationships with women because they felt safer with women than with men. Now, I think Sarah is going to break it down and to why he has beef with that comment, because it's more, you know what? I don't know. Again, we don't know if it's based in fact, but it's more of a flippant slash, throwaway comment, more deflective comment in which it doesn't comment exactly on a woman's behavior, but on a man's behavior as the main reason and the only reason why two people broke up, which makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. But again, I'll let Sarah break it down to you further. Continue, Sarah.
okay, let me just say something first of all, right? This is my personal opinion on Cheyenne Reynolds. What is that? What is that noise there? Blessing? You hear it?
I hear it. No, now I. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. This Cheyenne Reynolds lady. I shouldn't go in on women like this, right? But what she said there was she's basically blaming men. She's blaming men for the reason why so many women are entering into same-sex relationships with other women, right? And she specifically said, if we listen to what she specifically said that women want to feel safe because of the narcissistic characteristics of other men,
Okay.
right? That's why they're entering into these safe relationships with other women.
Now, I'm just going to stop it right there just quickly before he gets into that. And I have a question for you ladies and gentlemen, and especially for the ladies out there. Who do you rather feel safe with? A quote-unquote narcissistic man, or a woman with half the strength, half the tensile grip, and half the weight of an average man. I think, or a third, or 2/3 the weight of an average man. So basically a smaller, less strong, less powerful woman over a man. I'm just asking, who would you feel safer with? But again, I think lesbians link up for many other reasons, but safety wouldn't be one of them. Safety definitely wouldn't be one of them. Just saying, because
45%.
Up to 45% of women.
I'm not shocked. That does not surprise me.
isn't that something? 17 to 45% of all lesbian relationships report domestic violence. So up to 45% of all lesbian relationships report domestic violence. Woman to woman violence. Because there is no real stronger or weaker of the species. They're both of average size, of average weight, of average strength. On Instagram, things are going a bit haywire there, unfortunately, and that's because of the weather outside. But I do apologize for that. But we are back live on Talk Talk Live right now, and we are just going into who is more narcissistic, women or men. And I was just explaining the fact that indeed, when women, especially in terms of relationships, and we just heard the comments of Cheyenne Reynolds, and what she was saying is more women, bisexual women, are moving towards lesbian relationships because they feel they felt slighted in narcissistic relationships with men, and we're deciding who is a more narcissistic, women or men. But again, what I was just explaining is the fact that women tend to be more violent with each other in lesbian relationships, and you're finding out that that domestic violence amongst women is on the rise because there is no hierarchy in terms of violence with each other, because of the fact that more or less women's strength is pretty much the same unless it's defined by weight. So women feel no shame in carrying out violence against each other. No shame in it if they are that violent. If they are that violent. So for them to feel safer in a lesbian relationship is a bit facetious. It's simply a bit facetious because 17 to 45% of lesbian relationships involve domestic violence. Up to 45%. So, for women to feel safer in lesbian relationships, it's a bit of a fallacy. Very much a bit of a fallacy. Because there's always male and female roles, and violent women that can be a part of lesbian relationships. And women, being emotional, will take it out on their partners. Done deal. That can happen. So if you think the grass is greener on the other side, you're wrong. But we continue with the comments here. I'm glad you are sticking with me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by my people at Done Talk. DUNTALK.com. Fall winter line out now. Let's continue.
I don't want to say no, okay? It's not often that I would be afraid of a girl being able to kill me with her hands.
Right.
It's not, I'm not going to say there's no girl could. Yeah, an average guy could kill me with his hand.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's the fact that she would sit on a podcast and say that women are basically turning into lesbians because of men.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, if you want to lick a vagina, say you just want to lick vagina. Don't blame us for it.
And this is where I have done this, which I can see the real reason why women are becoming more lesbian. It's not because of narcissistic relationships with their men. It's because men don't please them sexually. There it is. Men do not please them sexually. And the statistic reads that 80% of women reach climax or they reach some sort of well, they come. I was trying to put it in a nicer way, but they come only through vaginal stimulation or cunnilingus. And some men won't do it. It's against their It's against their belief system. It's against their religion. They don't like it. They don't feel comfortable doing it. I've recently heard of a friend who told me literally that she left her man of many years because he couldn't please her sexually. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And when I asked her why, it's because he never went down on her. He never went down on her. Never went down on her. Is clitoral stimulation. That clitoral stimulation is usually through the tongue or through a vibrator. Either one. Either one. That's the real reason why women are leaving relationships for women, because they're not getting the sex they want. And then
it's like, you're gonna say narcissistic men, but why do you like narcissistic men? Maybe it's a you problem. Like, narcissists are like 1 to 2% of the population. Let's double it, triple it, quadruple. Let's make it 10%. That's still 1 out of every 10 guys. That's 9 out of every 10 guys that aren't. Why are you?
There it is. That's the statistic that I was waiting on. I was waiting on that. I do mean clearly of the reasons why things end. And it's not because women have taken part in that issue. No. It's all a man's fault. They refuse to be accountable for it. Back here on Talk Live on Instagram, YouTube. Bang. Okay. We're going to get back into the conversation because, again, Just Pearly broke it down for you. Only one. And when it comes to bisexual women turning on, becoming lesbians themselves, I think it's simply because it's not because of narcissists. No, it's because women aren't getting the sex they want, so they're voting with their feet and finding women as their solace sexually. If men aren't giving them what they want, women have the choice to run to female.
A lot of women say, "Oh, do you know what? My ex was we've heard it on the show, right?
Oh, always.
My ex was a narcissist."
I've never heard a guy say his ex was a narcissist. That's a funny thing.
Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because what we're going to do, have you heard of the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders?
Okay, go ahead.
The DSM-5. It is the Bible of psychiatry and psychology.
Okay.
And so narcissism is actually a mental health disorder, right? But in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, there are 9 narcissistic characteristic traits to show that you are a narcissist.
Okay.
Now the DSM-5, the Diagnostic Standards Manual. Sorry, I didn't get the acronym quite correct there. The Diagnostic Standards Manual, the DSM-5. Anybody who's in personal injury ought to know about the DSM-5, especially when it comes to psychological diagnosis of personal injury victims. Or anybody who's in the psychological field know about the DSM-5. So anybody who has with a narcissistic personality. And now we're going to judge to see within those 9 parameters who is more narcissistic, men or women. So this is the crux of the show. So let's go.
Inflated sense of self-esteem, a grandiose sense of self-importance or superiority.
Okay.
Who does that describe? A grandiose feeling of self-esteem, sense of self, and personality. Modern day man or modern day woman? Sure, there are men who tend to be a bit narcissistic and have a high sense of self. But for the most part, what do you think Instagram was created to be? Instagram. The actual social platform. What do you think that caters to most? Because that's where you find narcissistic behavior. You find that instantly on narcissistic behavior. And usually, who are the ones who are more pervasive on Instagram? Because they really YouTube, it's all about a show and the personality and it's about likability and, people vote with their feet. But in terms of narcissism, in terms of people wanting you to like them and to like them, to comment on them, to gain more followers, where's a likelier place to be? It's on Instagram. And who usually runs Instagram? Females, modern women, who thirst for that self-adulation, for that adulation and that sense of following and wish and simple, yeah, just simple appearance of a high sense of self from gentlemen and their reception from gentlemen. That's where you find it on Instagram, and usually it's the ladies who do it. Yeah. So again, in terms of that run, it is ladies who usually run that, and we'll just get an answer right now.
Does that sound like?
I'm a 10.
Thank you. Does that sound like the man or the woman? Okay, someone who...
Perfect example. I'm going to let these run through from here on in. I did that a bit too soon, but yeah. Any woman who says she's a 10 has a high sense of health and valuation, and she needs that sense of adulation from simple superiority to men. You don't get that. Simple superiority to men. You don't get that. You get that a certain amount of men to women, but most men don't do that. They don't do that. Not in the modern day. No. No. Women do, though. Oh, yes. They need that sense of adulation. They need the likes. They need to be known as 10s. They need to have their self-esteem propped up in some artificial form. Horny. We'll still take you in if you're horny. So, you have all these. So let's rewind it back and let's say it again, because I don't want to skip a beat here. So let's go back a little bit and we'll let's go back a little further here.
Sound like the man or the woman? Okay, someone who is craving admiration. Does that sound like the man or the woman?
There we go.
A grandiose sense of self-importance or superiority.
Okay.
Grandiose sense of self-importance and superiority.
I'm a 10.
Ones who say they're 10s are women. So these are all narcissistic traits.
Okay, someone who is craving admiration.
Someone craving admiration.
Go, girl.
A woman.
Go, girl.
Usually it's a woman who's craving admiration.
Relationships, i.e. manipulation.
Involving themselves in exploitative relationships. Using manipulation. Usually it's a woman who does that. Because they're always seeking either their looks to be exchanged for money from men. So that involves a woman as well. That's a female trait. Continue.
To no empathy.
No empathy relationships. They don't feel sorry for men at all. Either you're a winner or a loser, but more often than not, that is it. There it is, cut and dry. Usually women engage in that. Men usually take women in to varying degrees. Either an 8, 9, and 10, so we shower money on you. Either a 5 or 6, so you know you can be worked with if you believe you're a 5 or 6, or you're a 4 to 1. And if you don't have a high body count, well, we'll consider you as a wife, because usually you're the most given. But even the 4 to 1s have high sense of self because they keep getting sexual attention from men. But still, another female trait. Continue.
Easily disturbed, meaning they cannot handle criticism.
Who can't handle criticism these days? Who cannot handle criticism? Who cannot take rejection? Men have had to make a life for themselves taking rejection. We have. But there's one part of the human species that can't take rejection at all. And they'd rather avoid it than take it. I mean, we all have to take rejection sooner or later. Let's face facts. Let's be fair about things. But one of us don't have a familiarity with it and rather not take it. And if they do take it, they don't take it well. Just saying. One of us don't take it well. I'll let you answer in the comments who that is. Continue.
I mean,
Let's talk about the show, pal.
Oh, we got a little technical issue here. Hopefully we'll get back on track with it. I think it should be coming back now any moment. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, this is one to test my... There we go.
I mean, women.
Modern women, the lack of attachment and intimacy. Modern women, feelings of depression or emptiness when they are not validated.
Oh yeah, that's women. That's
Right.
There it is. Feeling an emptiness and depression when they're not validated. Yeah, that's a female trait. Definitely a female trait. Remember, these are all criteria of a narcissist we're going through right here. This is one of the DSM-5. In other words, the diagnostic system, the diagnostic manual for all psychological thoughts as to what someone takes on as a psychological issue. This is the Bible. This is what defines a narcissist right now. And deep depression, for lack of adulation, is definitely a female trait. If she does not get that compliment, get that like, get that feeling that you approve of their presence, yeah, they get depressed. Yeah, they can't take that usually. They can't take it. They can't take it. These are all female traits. These are all narcissistic ideas, female traits, but we continue.
Yeah, I think that's just women in general.
A sense of entitlement.
Modern women.
You got a woman on the panel telling you these things, a sense of entitlement. Most people narcissists do run with a sense of entitlement, but more so women because they are born with value. So they feel entitled to do as they want, to do as they please because they are women. And if something goes wrong in their life, oh, it's a man's fault. There's zero accountability, especially for most women, but especially with modern women these days. Hell no. Where's the accountability? All about. Continue.
Can feel like others are envious of them, or others are, or they may be envious of others.
You're so insecure.
Right. So this is what I'm trying to understand, right? Like women use the term narcissism all the time. So listen, everybody can go and research what narcissism is and the traits of narcissism. I don't understand what I do because projection is a thing. These women are projecting their own narcissistic traits onto other men and saying that the men are narcissistic.
It's true. If you heard that on Talk Talk Live, it's true. We just described narcissistic traits. And they are with, I would say, 60 to 70% of women today. 60%, 70% of modern women carry narcissistic traits. You can look it up yourself. Again, let's read the definition for you if you missed that out. A narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. Women call themselves tens every single day. And we're supposed to treat that as gospel. Gospel. Women need to have a little humility, but these days you can't. Where's the humility? There's none. There is none. Especially with a modern woman. No chance. We continue. They need and seek too much attention. They need and seek too much attention. Yes, that is the modern woman for you. And want people to admire them. For what I don't know, but for their looks, yes. And that is the definition of a modern woman, absolutely. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. Yes, if you are a pretty woman, if you are pretty, beautiful, and downright gorgeous, you don't care about the feelings of others. You've won the genetics lottery. You don't give a darn what other people think. Just give me my money, give me what I need in terms of bank account, make sure I have a fine, upstanding man who's 6 feet tall, 6-pack, 6 figures, 6 inches or more in the bedroom, cool factor, I want it all. And they know that at an early age. They know their worth quite early. To the hell what other people think. But behind the mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth. Yes, women are insecure. They are definitely insecure. Any man who's ever been in a relationship knows that women are insecure to a fault. They need that constant validation. And are easily upset by the slightest criticism. Now again, this is not for most women, but for a lot of high-strung women, especially women who have been given what they want on a silver platter for most of their lives, the slightest criticism, they go off. And you've seen it happen. Every man, woman, and child has seen it happen in their lives. Especially with attractive, self-centered women. Absolutely. Minute they are criticized, they go into a hissy fit because they run on emotion. Most women are run on emotion. Most, not exactly run on logic. There are a few that are indeed run on logic, but those are few and far between. Unfortunately. Yes. So. They defined it there, and I defined it myself. But let us continue with the conversation.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's the thing. Like, you are what you attract. So if you dated 3 narcissists, you might be. Well, I'll give you one. I'll give you. We're attracted to the dark triad traits and shit. You know what? I'll give y'all one narcissist. But they all were.
All of them.
All of them.
Every single last one of them, pal.
I'll give you one. I won't give you 2.
And there it is, people. So when women say they leave men who more often than not are narcissistic, it's a dead ass lie. Because you see the traits of women. Women exude narcissistic traits. I just read you from the Mayo Clinic what involved with narcissistic personality disorder. I just read it to you. Who exudes those traits? More often than not, modern women. But yet, they say that because of narcissistic men, bisexual women run off with lesbian women because their men were narcissists. But it only happens to 1% of the population, 10 at best at a stretch. So we have women being considered 10s, which is totally untrue. Because no person is perfect. And for you to consider yourself a 10, and usually those who consider themselves 10s are nowhere near 10s. They're not even 9s, they're not even 8s. They can just consider themselves 10s off rip because they have estrogen. Because they had puberty that turned them from a girl to a woman. Because they go through a period once a month. They're a 10. But then, again, ladies and gentlemen, that's the definition of a narcissistic trait. But you wish to project that on men. who clearly do not exude these types of personality disorders, for the most part. Because life teaches us we can't be narcissistic. Life teaches us unless you make a certain amount of money, unless you're 6 foot tall, unless you have a six-pack, unless you're making 6 figures, unless you've earned it, 6 inches or more in the bedroom, unless you have a cool factor, unless you have all these things, you can't be narcissistic. Life will knock you down and say, no, you're not who you say you are. You cannot be a narcissist as a man. Life teaches you that. But they don't teach women that. So who's the narcissist? Who indeed are the narcissists? I asked you. They've proved it to you. Incredible. The kind of flippant grounds women leave men for, and the lack of care they use in order to find the reason why they left. It is simply astonishing. Simply astonishing. And especially when the real reason why, in my estimation, and I'm sure 'tis the case, bisexual women leave men for ladies, is because, not because the man is a narcissist, but because ladies aren't getting the sex they wished for from a man. There it is. They don't engage in cunnilingus. 80% of ladies ejaculate through cunnilingus. And if they're not getting it from a man, they fantasize with a woman and they're bisexual themselves. Guess what they're doing? They're leaving for a lady. It's as simple as that. Because we live in such a modern world and modern women are voting with their feet. If they're not getting the sex they want at home, guess what they're doing? They're voting with their feet and moving on. That's it. And that's a plausible reason why women move on. But even though there's 17 to 45% of all lesbian relationships involve domestic violence. Just saying. So I don't know how safer you are in a lesbian relationship. When you have a woman of the same strength, if not more, slightly more, within that pairing. So guess what? It's like it's like the animal kingdom. If you find certain animals of the same strength, you're usually going to battle out to find out who the king or the queen is. More often the king of that jungle is. Especially if you're in an environment in which there are emergency services available so that they can mete out and enforce some semblance of normalcy in times of strife. Because the police is there, therefore a domestic violence thing happens, and women don't usually go to jail, so they feel no sort of, unless there's visible scars and there's a visible assault, they're not usually going to jail because of it. But if it's a man and woman and there is domestic violence, guess who's usually going to jail? It's the man. Because they see men having more strength, more tensile abilities, and are stronger and usually taller than a female. So they'll usually be the aggressors, even though women usually aggress. Let's say that. Takes a two-way street, but anyways. Usually the one who's usually caught in the middle in terms of domestic violence between a man and woman is the man. And who describes narcissistic traits? And who describes narcissistic traits? And who describes narcissistic traits? And I have read to you what narcissistic personality disorder involves. So I ask you to find out for yourself. And that definition that I gave to you right now, you can see it on Talk Talk Live right now, comes from none other than...
I'll read them again.
There's one guy I could think of, maybe. That...
Inflated sense of self-esteem.
Okay.
Grandiose self-importance and superiority.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The one I'm thinking of.
I.e. manipulation.
Yeah.
Little to no empathy.
Yes.
Can't handle criticism.
Yes.
Lack of attachment and intimacy.
Yes. Yeah. I will say, I can think of more of these for women, but I'm thinking of one person.
You're thinking of one person.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Sense of entitlement.
No, I would say no.
What do you say that the shows that we've been doing for the past 8 months, 8, 9 months?
Oh, it's mostly women.
It's mostly women, right?
You just asked if I could think of any guy. I'm like, I can think of one.
But the thing is, it's mostly, in my experience, it's mostly the women that are having these traits.
Absolutely. No, it's absolutely women more than that.
So there it is. He'll go on with it a little further, but most modern day women exude narcissistic traits, and he just read them out to you again. And I just read it out to you myself. So why men are blamed for breaking relationships up because they have narcissistic traits is beyond me. It's rather ridiculous. Rather ridiculous. It cannot be made any clearer that the true narcissists are not men, it's actually women. Modern day women. Read that back again for me one more time, Sarah. Please, and thank you.
No, I would say no.
What do you say that the show... Lack of attachment and intimacy? Craving admiration?
Okay.
Grandiose self-importance and superiority?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The one I'm thinking of.
Craving admiration?
Yeah.
Exploitative relationships, i.e. manipulation?
Yeah.
Little to no empathy?
Yes.
Can't handle criticism?
Yes.
Lack of attachment and intimacy?
Yes. Yeah. I will say, I can think of more of these for women.
So we need to be clear about this, gentlemen. Do not be gaslit. Do not be seen as the reason why women left. If it's left by irreconcilable differences, so be it. But do not be gaslit to say that you are a narcissist. Usually you weren't a narcissist. It's usually women who engage in narcissistic behavior. And that's what led you down the path to what we have today. And if women are leaving you, who are bisexual, who are leaving you, usually it's because, more often than not, it's because you're not giving the sex they want and they want to have sex with a woman. Done. 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 They want to be in a relationship with a woman because they like the sex a woman can give. Simple as that. And you're not willing. And if you can't adapt, and you've done your best to try to adapt, you can't adapt, then you can't help anything. So don't blame yourself. But in terms of the final question of the day, who are the real narcissists? It's clear. It's women. Absolutely clear as day, it's women. Again. Especially Instagram, especially TikTok. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. Women are on Instagram and on TikTok to a certain extent, on Facebook to a certain extent. Well, I wouldn't say YouTube. YouTube is more of a content-driven media, social media platform. But the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. Yeah, when you have a certain look, you don't care about anybody else. But could be the same for men and women, yes, but more often women, because women have been told in life, for the most part, men are usually, you know, humbled from in one part of their life or another. Women who are beautiful usually don't have to go through that at all in their lives. But behind the mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth. Women have always been self-conscious of their own looks. Need the sense of adulation, regular adulation, for it to sink in. Even the most beautiful among us need that adulation from time to time, because they lose that sense of self-confidence and self-worth, and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. Yes, if you've been told yes, 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 all of your life, you will be quite upset at the slightest criticism of others, because you've had it your way all your life. So for somebody to turn on you, how dare they? And where is this usually exuded to? In women, because they are born with worth. They're born with value. A 19-year-old can walk on a yacht, on a super yacht, a super sea liner at any moment, so it's because of their beauty. A man has to earn his way on there. It's true. Men can't just walk on any build. They have to prove their worth in order to walk on that shit. Women can just walk on off rip, just because they're 19 and they have a certain look.